Hello everyone. Imagine that NCSoft is a breeder of champion dogs. You, the player, dedicated many years of your life to their first champion, Blade and Soul life, providing constant care and investment and time. Then, the breeder decides to retire that loyal champion and offers you an identical, remastered replacement, Blade and Soul Neo. For the first 3 months, the new champion receives endless praise and resources. An exciting, fresh start, but the moment it fails to immediately win the biggest awards and generate massive instant revenue, the breeder stops feeding it. The new dog, Neo, is starving. It isn't dying of a disease, it is dying to calculated malnourishment and neglect. Our constant care is met with silence or backhanded repairs that do not fix any of the underlying issues. The players and community are the true owners to that dog, and we are watching our champion waste away, and the breeder seems content to let it happen. This isn't just a dying game. It's a betrayed community watching its collective investment die due to corporate negligence and indifference. This is a story of Blade and Soul Neo. Hey there everyone, my name is Shuvi and I am the founder and leader of Dragon on the NA Blade and Soul Neo server, as well as the coordinator for the Fixed Neo movement. I've been playing Blade and Soul Neo since day one and have been playing every day since. Today I'm reaching out to the world to reveal the predatory amounts of RNG that have turned Blade and Soul Neo from a promising revival into an active betrayal of the player base. Here's exactly how NCSoft is killing their game in less than 16 minutes. Issue 1. Excessive RNG. RNG is defined as a random number generator. It generates a random number to influence the outcome of an event or item drop. NCSoft's primary strategy to starve this game and pressure players is the systematic abuse of RNG. They have turned every aspect of progression into a punitive, high-stakes lottery where the cost of entry is unsustainable and the reward is statistically meaningless unless your credit card is involved. The first example of this would be the skill book lottery, aka an impossible task. The legendary and purple skill book system is the single most predatory gate to players. To achieve mandatory endgame power, we are forced into 3 devastating RNG scenarios. Route 1. Abysmal drop rates. Legendary drops from dungeons are impossible inside our game. When you kill a current purple dungeon, you have a 29.64% chance of rolling a rare item table drop. Of that table drop, you have a 0.55% chance of bidding on a purple book chest, which is a random roll of 20 plus skills that you could potentially get, as well as an incredible 0.09% chance to roll a legendary skill book. This is approximately a 1 in 1,110 chance to find this book. Not only do you have to find this book, but when you open this legendary book, it has a 1 in 8 chance, depending on your class, of getting what book you want. Did you want current legendary gear? Well, that has a 0.00025% chance of dropping. So, it's a 1 in 4 million run that you will get to see this gear. By the way, that 1 in 4 million run, well, too bad, because we're limited to approximately 9 dungeon runs per day, because we only have 100 points worth of Hongmoon Blessing. You can, of course, replenish this blessing using these potions, but you can only get them realistically maybe 5 to 10 times per month. Well, Shuvi, the drop rates seem pretty abysmal. So, is there a workaround? Well, Actually, yeah, there is. You can actually transmute the books by combining 20 or so of the fragments from the prior stage, and note that all books can salvage either 3, 4, or 5 fragments. After using 20 shards in transmuting, you have a 20% chance for each book to actually succeed into upgrading into the next skill chest, except for the legendary chest. The legendary chest requires 50 of the purples and has a 5% chance of succeeding. By using an expected value calculation, we can determine that it takes approximately 20 attempts on average to get this book. So we just need 1,000 fragments and 600 gold. How much is that? Well, if we go into the F5, go ahead and go to skill books, go to purple, go to all classes, and we select one of the trash books, we can see that the price right now is hovering around 600 to 700 DG. This is approximately $6 or $7 USD. Since every 100 DG is equivalent to a single US dollar. In order to be at odds, we need 1,000 fragments. We have a range of 3 to 5 fragments per book, meaning that we need to spend at minimum 120,000 DG, or at maximum 233,800 DG. So we're looking to spend approximately $1,200 for at minimum and $2,338 at maximum. And do know that I'm calculating average payout here. So if you're like some players that go 0 for 50, you actually lose everything. Now we understand how much NCSoft values one singular legendary book. But that leads to the question, how much does the player basis value a legendary book? Well, we can actually check the Blade and Soul Discord for that. So here we are in the Discord. We went to the Marketplace Mega Thread and we're just kind of scrolling up and we're looking for any books. There are 2 types of books. There's main spec best in slot books, which this Heavenly Slasher is going up for 90k plus, and we also have books that are labeled as trash. Trash books historically have sold for about 20 to 30k lower than a best in slot book, so you can assume that an average book right now is going to be costing around 60 to 80k DG. So we're still scrolling up, and eventually we will find a legendary book that was sold for 81k DG, which is approximately $810 USD. By the way, when you salvage these books, it salvages between a range of 3 to 5, like I've said. If you do not get at minimum 4 shards from this salvage, so you have a 33% chance of getting a 3 salvage, you will not be able to recraft the book into a box because the box requires 4. And don't forget, we also have to roll the box, so we have a 14% chance of getting what we want. Alright. Let's go ahead and move away from skill books and talk about gear. We want these, but they do not drop. So how do you get them? All you gotta do is find your weapon or accessory and start feeding it identical weapons or accessories in order to evolve it. And you will be able to evolve it up to +3. Once you hit +3, each evolution starts costing 1 ductile stone. Although this might not seem bad on a surface level, but you can only get 3 of these per week from the merchant. And if you went to farm this, then you would have to kill Noxun over and over again, but he only has a 10% chance of dropping this. So if you spend all of your Hongun Blessing for the day, you might be lucky and get only 1 ductile stone, and you wouldn't be able to get any other dungeon rewards for the day. As you see in the background, the probability of succeeding is going down substantially by every single upgrade. You can imagine the frustration of free-to-play players when they start tapping this gear, but they never succeed out of all 3 of their attempts. Okay, Shuey, that might not seem like that bad, but is there more? You bet there is. When you get a gear drop or you make the gear also gets to be RNG rolled for a mechanic that we have in the game called mantra slots. You can have 2, 3, or no mantra slot at all. Also, the base 2 substats for your gear also have to be rolled, but you're probably not going to hit crit damage. So NCSoft implemented a system called re-rolling, so we are able to now re-roll the substats. However, the percentage chance of hitting the substat that you would like is only 10% because we have to roll against every single one of these terrible stats. Do you think that's enough RNG for you on gear? Well, we're still not done because now we can actually start talking about the enchantment effects. Enchantments are additional bonuses added to gear. These can range from damage, defense, or even, most importantly, combat EXP. By the way, the percentage chance to roll Combat EXP on your gear is approximately 10% for either of them. So are you ready to spend 360 plus worth of jewels in order to roll Combat EXP? Most people are, and they most of the time fail. Why is getting this Combat EXP important? Well, it's your best source of EXP when you combine it with something called the Ancient Lunar Meadow. The Ancient Lunar Meadow is accessible to all players above level 47, I believe, and it's a PvE only zone, allowing players to kill mobs continuously over and over again. That's great, right, Shuvi? Well, actually, no, it's not, because every single player is only given 30 minutes of farming time on this map. And you'd be lucky to find a spot that doesn't have any players, because every viable spot is always taken up by a player. And if you don't want to spend the next 20 years of your life farming at a camp, then you're gonna want 280% combat EXP. But NCSoft has made it such a gambling game that it's almost impossible for a player that's free to play to get full combat EXP on all of their gear. In this example right here, I have 220% EXP on this gear, and when I decide to kill this mob, you can see that the amount of EXP I get from it is 536. And in this example, I have 280%. I went ahead and equipped my Combat EXP badge and Soul badge. When I kill the mob, it gives me 683. Levels are incredibly important to the game, and if you have 0% bonus Combat EXP, you can expect that this amount would probably be in the low 100s or 200s. But you couldn't possibly need that much EXP, could you? Well, wrong. This is how much EXP you need cumulatively on the right column, and to get to the next level on the left column to get for each level in the game up to about 80. Imagine this grind, but you're gonna have to spend 2.8 times the amount of time compared to a player that swipes their credit card. Are there any catch-up systems in place currently? No, and they probably will not be implemented as long as we do not speak up about this. By the way, if you do want to spend more time in the EXP zone, you can go ahead and enter into F5 and buy tradable hourglasses, which will give you 30 minutes each per pop. So if you do want those valuable levels, A, you have to get combat EXP on your gear, B, you have to be strong enough to kill the mobs, and C, you have to buy a ton of hourglasses, which makes this route incredibly difficult for a free-to-play player or someone that doesn't spend all day on Blade and Soul. Alright, now think about this. Have you ever been told to assemble IKEA furniture using only a rock? That's essentially what Blade and Soul Neo is. Because of the introduction of the skillbook system, many classes lost their built-in baked utility. Force Masters no longer have Sheath. Assassins no longer have Party Stealth. Blade Masters and Blade Dancers no longer have HMB. Warlocks, Assassins, and KFMs no longer give party buffs. By the way, FMs, they also don't have a stun or KD anymore. If you would like any of this utility aside from the party buffs, you're gonna have to actually spec into them using, a skillbook slot. On the left here, we have an FM that's using Sheath, and on the right, we have an FM that is not using Sheath. However, by picking up this utility, we're actually losing approximately 6.5 to 9% DPS on our main damage skill, meaning that if you want to help your team, you're gonna lose damage. Alright, so that's all the base stuff that I will talk about in this video. However, let's go ahead and talk about the most recent spits in the face that we have received as a community. Purple book selectors are the number one way to get the book that you desire when playing this game. And in the current battle pass, there is no purple book selector for new players to actually make any progression. NCSoft even had the balls to do another battle pass on top of this battle pass, so we have two, and that doesn't even have a selector in it as well. These purple selectors are the number one way that players are actually getting stronger, and yet NCSoft decides to bar it under the stupid Hajuns boxes. Each one of these boxes costs 990 DG, almost $10. You can buy it 20 times, and only after you buy it 20 times are you allowed to craft the skillbook selector. The amount of corporate greed here is ridiculous. I don't understand, because whatever NCSoft is doing is actually killing the game, and it's killing the community. Countless people leave the game already, so many well-known players, so many amazing people, yet the management of NC America refuses to do anything about the matter. NC America, the community has been screaming and begging and crying for events that actually matter. Yet the next event that you dropped for us fucking contains a monkey mask and an outfit. Maybe a little bit of materials, which none of these really matter. An average player is not going to yell and scream and be cheerful about what materials you're giving us. It's just not a spit to my face, because this most certainly is. You think we want outfits? Well, we do. However, you decide to then spit in our face again by putting the next outfit inside of a blind box. Here, I'm going to go ahead and make a point. I went ahead and I bought one box. Here's the probabilities. Look at this pull rate. If you want me to pull a Midsummer Rest outfit, you are expecting me to buy this chest at minimum 50 times in order to be at odds. All right, let's open it. What did you expect? NC America, this monetization policy is not the correct approach for your company inside of this region. Players are dropping dead like flies because the amount of monetization that you have incorporated into the game. The best form of retention is prevention. So maybe you guys should listen to your community a little bit more. Thank you for watching. The town hall is going to be on Sunday, the 2nd of November at 6 p.m. PST. I hope to see you all there. The rest of this video is tribute to those who have fallen.
Sometimes you gotta let them go, oh. I know it's hard, but you're better on your own, oh. I know the scars got you feeling all alone, oh. I know it's hard, but you gotta let them go, oh. Say it with me, everything is okay, yeah. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. But you gotta let them go, oh. I know it's hard, but you're better on your own, yeah, on your own, yeah. All these feelings kept, I wanna be over it, but something deep inside makes me feel alone again. They were in my life, never got that closure yet. Push the pain aside, it's heavy when I'm sober, yeah. Turn my thoughts off, I'm over it. 2 shots too deep, I'm alone again. This ain't healthy, tears never help me, and that's why sometimes you gotta let them go, oh. I know it's hard, but you're better on your own, I know the scars got you feeling all alone, I know it's hard, but you gotta let them go, say it with me, everything is okay, yeah. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. But you gotta let them go, I know it's hard, but you're better on your own, yeah, on your own, yeah. I know it's hard, yeah, they were in your heart, yeah. A little piece of you broken and discarded. You need to be, you get space from all the darkness. Pull all the weeds from the roots that you both started.